My son was struggling silently. What I did changed everything. True story, safe version. When I look back at that year, I realize how blind I had been to my son's silent struggle. My name is Rachel Miller. I live in a quiet town in Oregon, and I work as a middle school teacher. Life had always felt busy but stable. My husband Mark managed a small construction business, and our 16-year-old son Ethan was the heart of our world. From the outside, everything looked normal. But beneath Ethan's quiet demeanor, something was brewing, something I couldn't see until I finally opened my eyes. It all started during the fall semester of Ethan's sophomore year. He had always been a bright, enthusiastic kid. When he was younger, he loved baseball and painting, and he'd spend hours drawing superheroes in notebooks. But lately, I noticed he spent most of his time locked away in his room, headphones on, the glow of his laptop illuminating his tired face at night. At first, I chalked it up to being a teenager. After all, everyone says teenagers go through phases, right? But then little things started to stand out. Ethan's grades began to slip. His once vibrant sketchbooks now sat untouched on his desk. He avoided eye contact, even with me, the mom he used to run to for everything. And then there were the mornings he claimed to feel sick just to skip school. I'd find him staring blankly at his cereal, spoon unmoving. I felt a pang of worry, but I didn't want to be the nagging mom who pushed too hard. One evening, after a particularly long day at work, I came home to find Ethan sitting on the porch steps, hoodie pulled over his head, staring at the ground. The sunset painted everything in gold, but his eyes were clouded with something heavier than teenage angst. I sat down beside him, waiting for him to speak. But he didn't. He just sighed. "Rough day?" I asked gently. He shrugged. "Yeah. Just school stuff." But I knew it wasn't just school. My gut told me something deeper was wrong. That night, after Ethan went to bed, I sat with Mark at the kitchen table. "I'm worried about Ethan," I confessed. "He's not himself lately." Mark nodded slowly. "I've noticed too. He used to talk my ear off about baseball stats. Now he barely says 2 words. We agreed to keep a closer eye on him. But the truth was, we didn't yet realize the depth of his silent battle. The turning point came 2 weeks later. Ethan's school called me in for a meeting. His history teacher explained that Ethan had been withdrawing in class, not participating, and he even failed his last test. "He seems distracted and tired," the teacher said kindly. "Have you noticed anything at home?" I felt my heart sink. Clearly, something was happening, and I had missed it. That evening, I decided to sit with Ethan in his room. I didn't knock like I usually did. I just quietly entered, carrying 2 mugs of hot cocoa. He looked startled, tugging his headphones off. "Mom." "Hey, I thought we could talk," I said, handing him the cocoa. For a long moment, we sat in silence. Finally, I asked, "Ethan, are you okay?" His eyes welled up. He tried to blink back the tears, but they fell anyway. My heart broke at the sight. He whispered, I feel like I'm not good enough." I froze. My son, who had once believed he could conquer the world with a baseball bat and a paintbrush, was crumbling under invisible weight. He told me how he felt pressured to get perfect grades, to fit in at school, and to make us proud. He admitted he had been struggling with anxiety, staying up late at night overthinking every mistake he made. "I feel like I'm letting everyone down," he confessed. I pulled him into my arms, holding him tightly. "Ethan, you could never let me down. You're enough just as you are. We love you, no matter what." That was the beginning of change. Over the next few weeks, I made it my mission to be more present for Ethan. Instead of just asking, "How was school?" I asked, "What made you smile today?" or "What was tough about today?" At first, he gave short answers. But slowly, he began to open up. Mark also stepped in. He took Ethan out for weekend drives, just father and son, where they talked about life, dreams, and fears. We also decided to seek professional help, and Ethan started meeting with a counselor at school who specialized in teenage mental health. The transformation wasn't instant. Healing never is. But little by little, the cloud around Ethan began to lift. He started sketching again, filling pages with new characters and landscapes. He rejoined the baseball team, not for the competition but for the joy of the game. His grades improved, but more importantly, his smile returned. One of the most powerful moments came months later. Ethan gave me a folded piece of paper. Inside was a drawing of our family, me, Mark, and him, standing together under a bright blue sky. At the bottom, he wrote, "Thank you for not giving up on me." Tears blurred my vision as I hugged him. That was when I realized how close I had come to missing my son's silent cries. Now, when I tell this story, I want other parents to hear it clearly. Listen to your kids. Watch their silences. Don't assume they're just phasing out. Sometimes, silence is the loudest cry for help. Looking at Ethan today, I see strength where there was once struggle. He's not just surviving, he's thriving. And I've learned that being a parent doesn't mean having all the answers. Sometimes, it simply means showing up, listening, and reminding your child that they are enough. This journey changed us all. It made me realize that love isn't just in the hugs or the words "I love you." It's in the late-night talks, the patient listening, the willingness to sit beside your child even in their darkest hour. And that, I believe, changed everything.